Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your February 2018 tarot forecast. You might notice, I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. 8 of Cups, first card down. And normally I would not do a reading if that were the case, but this is the last of 3 readings I've done today, and I chose all 3 signs very specifically. So I did Scorpio and Cancer first, because I'm a very fiery and airy sign, or airy person, but feeling a little bit under the weather, I feel like I'm almost more in tune with the water energy. It's like I'm more subdued, and so that worked well. And the reason I'm doing your reading, Sagittarius, before I cash in for the day is because I feel like this is an energy you guys might be relating to right now. I feel like you guys are maybe feeling a little bit worn down, and Sagittarians are in general a very energetic sign. I mean, all of the fire signs are, but you have a lot of joviality, you have a lot of youth, you have a lot of just fun energy about you. And you don't really like feeling this way, right? And you tend to get a little bit, it's not that you get depressed, you actually are not a very depressed sign at all. Y'all hate being depressed. But all this to say, like, feeling subdued is not you don't like that feeling. And I think some of y'all might be there right now. And I think some of y'all are maybe feeling kind of like, just almost like shell shock. You know, you did just go through a Saturn transit in your first house for 2 or 3 years. I think the last 2 or 3 years, and probably the last year in particular, you've just been dealing with a lot. And I don't necessarily think it's dealing, for some people it could be really heavy stuff like deaths or huge life changes, but for others, I don't necessarily think it's that deep or that tumultuous so much as it's just a lot. It's just a lot. You know, even a lot of good changes are stressful. You know, a lot of change is stressful regardless of what the quality of the change is or what the change is for or about. Ooh, almost just threw this out. Strength coming up. What you need right now. And the Knight of Cups in reverse came up. Okay, I'm going to pull a few more. So all that to say, I think it made sense. I was called to do this reading for you even as I'm feeling a little bit crappy, because I think that's sort of where some of you guys might be right now, feeling kind of haggard and run down. And that made sense for me to do this reading while I'm occupying that energy. Reversed Emperor and then the High Priestess. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, I think I'd be interested to see if any swords come out. Now that I said it, they probably won't. Because I think for y'all, like, you guys are kind of in this place where you, like, I don't know what y'all are up to, Sagittarius. I really don't, but you're lost. Some of y'all are. I feel like some of y'all are feeling very lost right now. Very lost and, like, almost regretful about something. And I'm seeing like a little bit of that come up in the cards here. I mean, the first card down was the 8 of Cups. It's not necessarily that this is a card of regret, but it's walking away from something that was good in sadness. It's a necessary walk, but it's not a happy walk. It's not like the fool walking off into the cliff, into the sunset all happy. Like, it's a little bit of a sad goodbye. And so I'm seeing that some of y'all might have fucked up a little bit. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to say it nicely. Like, you might have, whether it was a certain person or a certain situation, I feel like it may have to do with a person. It may have to do with someone that you were romantically seeing or that you had attempted to profess your love to, but something went wrong. I think I'm tempted to say what went wrong might have been on you. That's just kind of what I think is going on. And now you're dealing with the fallout of that. These 2 cards coming out like this too. Like you're in, I don't want to necessarily say you're deep in your feelings, but you're a little in your feelings. You're a little in your feelings and something is happening or something has just recently happened. Wow, those cards came flying out. 6 of Pentacles and 5 of Swords. you're a little in your feelings, and things may have happened, or what is currently happening is something that's making you question like a lot. Like it's this kind of like behind the veil shit. And it's not something that you're able to just power your way through with that beautiful fiery energy that you have. Now, it will of course require strength. It will of course require strength, but this is, you know, this is a very calm strength. All right. This is a very stable and controlled strength. Controlled not by force of will, but controlled by serenity and absolute faith that things will turn out as they are meant to. I don't think y'all necessarily have that right now, but it's what you need. You went to get your cup filled and it didn't get filled, Sagittarius. And it's kind of like it puts you through a loop. And I do kind of feel like it's on you. Now, we just had the Six of Pentacles come out with the Five of Swords. I mean, I kind of feel like this is y'all, like this makes sense to me for y'all right now. Because you are, you know, I don't know if someone is being duplicitous with you or if you are being duplicitous with someone, but I think if anything, you are probably being duplicitous with yourself, Sagittarius. Like, you're not understanding how these things that you're snatching up are actually hurting you in the long run, because even as you're snatching up these swords, you are destroying the trust and relationships of the comrades from which you stole them from, or from whom you stole them. You know what I mean? Like, and this right here, there's, you know, people talk about this card as being a card of balance because there's scales. I've never agreed with that interpretation. This is, to me, obviously a very imbalanced card. Right? Like there's a pentacle missing. So I think there's a sense here, in my opinion, that like you haven't been very fair. I'm putting this on you. I don't mean to like come for y'all, but I do feel like y'all have a tendency to not take responsibility for the situations that you put yourself in. All right? And I don't think that's a secret to you. Like, I don't think most Sagittarians are watching this and getting angry. You know you do that. You're aware that you do that. And a lot of the times, because of the way you are, you can get away with it because you are charming, you are fun, you are very positive, generally speaking, you know, like you tend to get away with a lot of bad behavior. But what I'm seeing in this reading, Sagittarius, is somebody who tried it and actually didn't get away with it this time. And that this not getting away with it is really important for you. Like, it's actually like I said, like having the Emperor in reverse come up, having the High Priestess come up. Like, this is something that's speaking to some deep inner workings of your mind and your soul. And I think that's also why the Strength card is down. Because it's not just, I mean, it might just be like, it might be, the situation itself might be a fleeting situation, but the things that has brought up for you, the feelings that you're in right now, like that's what is taking you deeper into yourself in a way that you need to go. Like, you need to go deep right now. Y'all have a tendency to distract yourself with people, friends, lovers, whomever. Y'all do have a tendency to do that, and you're not supposed to be doing that right now. In fact, with this Five of Swords down, I really think this, like, I think if you do that right now, if you use people to distract yourself from what you actually need to deal with right now, I think you're actually going to hurt them, and you're going to hurt yourself in the process, right? Because then you're going to be alone. Then you're going to lose those relationships, or you're going to hurt those relationships. I mean, like I said, y'all, like, I think the energy I'm feeling right now is very much where a lot of Sagittarians are. You are run down. but you were run down again, like, of your own making. You did too much, Sagittarius. You did too much. Y'all also have a tendency, I keep looking at this 8 of Cups, and then of course the Knight of Cups in reverse, which has me thinking about you in the context of human relationships and potentially romantic relationships. And you do have a tendency to pretend those relationships don't matter a lot, when in reality they matter a ton to you. You do have a tendency to take people for granted, Sagittarius. You do that. You really do that. And the more, it's like the more you do that and the more they pull away from you, the more in your feelings you get. Not realizing that the feelings that you're having, or like the fact that you're realizing on some level that these people actually do really matter to you. And you have a tendency to turn that into like, I wouldn't say necessarily that you tend to victimize yourself in most things, but like I said, you do like to shirk responsibility sometime and to not be held accountable, especially for emotional matters and romantic and relationship matters. And I do feel like that's what's going on here, is like when you get those feelings of like sadness or whatever, when someone you wanted attention from isn't giving you attention anymore, that sadness that you feel is a form of you shirking that responsibility. Because it's like, oh, I'm so sad. Why is this happening? Oh, it's happening because you made it happen. Like, it's not that complicated. Take people for granted and they won't stick around. Like, treat people like crap and they won't stick around. Like, you know, not show up for people and then expect them to be there for you. Like, they ain't gonna stick around. Like, that's not what people do, Sagittarius. So you played yourself a little bit. Sorry to say. I'm looking for one last card and it's not coming. Maybe I should stop talking and just focus on the cards. How about that? Oh, well, there she goes. Oh, okay. Queen of Pentacles, though. That's a great final outcome card for y'all. You know, I do think all of these cards down together like this, pardon me, it's almost like a roadmap. So you have the 8 of Cups as your first card down, like you are walking away from something with sadness. You were regretting something. Next card down is Strength, you know, like, so here, sorry, I'll go one by one. So this was the 8 of Cups. Next card down, we had Strength. Straight up, like, this is a card. This card is not only like, hey, you need to have strength. You know, why do you need to have strength? It is, I don't want to call it an ominous card, but it is a warning. It means like, hey, like, this is going to be hard because you're going to need strength to handle it. You know, so these two cards together. And then, you know what? And also the Knight of Cups in reverse down with them. They all came out pretty quickly in succession. Like, I do think it was like you really tried it with someone. You really tried it with someone, Sagittarius. Like, you tried to get... I think you maybe tried to go back to someone and it was too late and they weren't having it. Or they weren't willing to accept your apology or whatever it is. Like, you thought you could return to a situation that you had kind of left in shambles. You kind of like did this too, and you tried it and they were like, no, I'm done. And that sucks for you, and you're going to have to be strong to get through that. And like I said, like, this is not, you know, this is very fiery power, and this is obviously an extremely watery power. So you are not, like, you're a little bit more in your feelings than you normally would be, and you're being a little bit more deeply reflective than you normally are about it. I think that's the key. So yeah, as I was saying, back to this roadmap, this thing, like, you went through this situation, you might have played yourself, you might have left things in a place that you thought you could return to, and then it turns out somebody wasn't on that same page with you, and they were like, no, you can't return to this, like the page, I already ripped it out of the book, we're done. And now you're dealing with that. And what it means for you as a person, like the situation, like I said, I think it has some bearing on, like, it's going to be a learning curve for you. And I think you should like figure that out now, Sagittarius, because in a few months, or like in 9 or 10 months, you're going to have Jupiter moving through your first house. That's already your ruling planet. It's going to be an insanely harmonious energy for you. And it's really going to call you to rethink what it means to be you and who you really are and how you show that to the external world and how to expand on that. And so I think like right now, the next 9 months, you know, you want to get yourself in a good place. So if you're being called, if you're in some type of situation and you're being called to deal with it, you're not a sign that dwells, and you shouldn't be, but deal with it, you know, like reflect on it. Take your time and reflect on it. And I think you can do that. I mean, the thing with Sagittarius, I think one of the reasons that y'all can tend to sometimes skim over those things is because you can do them so easily. Then you're like, oh, I don't even need to do that. Like, I know how to do it. And I'm like, yeah, okay. You know how to do it, but are you doing it? You know how to be self-aware and reflective, but are you? Do you have a massive blind spot to the role that you're playing in these situations? Like all those types of questions that are being brought up by this combination right now, I think is for you to deal with that. So when you get to the end, when you get to Jupiter hitting your sign at the end of this year, you can just fully manifest material and emotional prosperity. And these two cards, again, like these two cards coming out together, like I think there is a sense like there was an injustice that was done. And I don't think it was done to you. I think you did it to someone. And I think it's probably related to this. Like you tried it with someone. You tried it with someone. Or you are currently trying it with someone. So here's the thing. If you already tried it, Sagittarius, then like, and you already like tried to work it out and you went back to this person and they were like, I'm good. I mean, that's where it is. You did it and now you dealt it, now you smelt it. You know what I mean? Like that, this is where it is. If you are currently doing that, and again, these two, like this high priestess is begging you not to be blind to where your role is in things. If you are currently doing that, you need to stop or it will not put you in a happy place. It's going to put you right fucking here. Okay? You know? Y'all really can, Sagittarius. Like you really can think that it's okay to treat people a certain kind of way. You really think it's okay to want attention and love and affection when you want it and not worry about when other people want it. And, you know, that's your prerogative, but it's not going to work every time. And I see it has not worked recently. But then again, like focus on this Queen of Pentacles coming out. You know, if you have the strength, if you have the fortitude to really be honest with yourself and learn lessons from this, and not just shrug it off and ignore it, then, you know, I see this as being the final outcome. Regardless of what this other person does, like, regardless of how this particular situation plays out, as long as you can learn from it, Sagittarius, you're going to end up in a much more healthy, much more abundant place. And then at the bottom of the deck here, we have the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. So again, like, I think, again, like this just to me strengthens that notion that y'all did this. Like this is not a situation that is being done to you. Like this is a situation that you have perpetrated yourself against somebody else. All right. And like this is you are reaping what you sowed, and this coming up in the reverse, like you might not be so happy about it. But like I said, you dealt it and then you smelled it. Like that's what it was. So again, to like, I don't want this to be like a negative reading. This is the future, okay? The Queen of Pentacles, what a fantastic card. That is the future for you if you can keep all of this in check and learn the lessons you need to learn. Humility in relationships, Sagittarius. Humility in relationships. That's going to get you the best relationships that you can get. Because when you take people for granted, you don't want partners who tolerate that. That's not a good partner, right? Like that's a partner, I mean, maybe it is for you, but like that's a partner who doesn't have a strong sense of worth and a strong sense of value. And like realistically, like, is that really what you want, Sagittarius? You don't. Like you want the best, right? You totally do. Like you want someone who's dynamic and fun and who can like just be a partner in crime with you. And you're not going to get that by treating people like shit. You're just not going to get that. I don't know what to tell you, you know, like you're going to keep getting this. You're going to keep getting this, you know, as long as you keep doing this shit. So just knock it off. Knock it off. Because the opportunity to really have some fantastic payouts over the next year is huge for you. But, you know, you spent the last 2 or 3 years kind of maybe struggling with who you are as the Saturn made its transit through your first and now it's hit your second. And now you got to think about how you are with other people, you know, and learn the lessons there. Because, I mean, if you don't learn them now, the universe, karma, what God, whatever you believe in, is going to keep throwing it in your face until you learn it. So learn it now and save yourself the grief. All right, I'm ready to take a nap. I don't know about you. But Sagittarius, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. As always, there is information in the description box if you are interested in a private reading with me. Your support is appreciated. I hope you enjoyed the reading. Until next time, bye.